Hey, Stephanie Caines, you've got Miss Proctor from Hosman here.
And Miss Pierce from MSC.
We just want to say how much we appreciate you, all of your hard work, your dedication, your positivity, and your ability to come into a situation and turn it around in such positive ways.
Ms. Caines, I cannot express to you the amount of joy that you bring, the amount of positivity that you bring, not only to our staff, but right down to the students as well. You are a valued member of this team.
So, with that being said, we want to congratulate you as Taylor ISD's July 1+ Superintendent Court of Excellence recipient.
We're so proud. Congratulations.
Hi, Stephanie. I just want to tell you thank you so much for being a 1+ at Taylor Middle School. We could have not gotten through Science Fair without you. You showed up every day. You supported every student that had involved themselves in Science Fair, and we just want to say thank you so much for all the hard work. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Oh my gosh, this is so wonderful.
Congratulations. Thank you for all you do. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, thank you,
Yes.
thanks for your support.
So much. Thank you. Good to see you again,
Good to see you.
Sarah. Thank you.
Kids are so fun.
Oh, congratulations.
All right.
Come on, we have to hug it out.
All right, Stephanie, here's your coin.
Gotta get in the middle.
And then
Oh, I
this has got to go in the front yard. So Stephanie,
Yes.
going out. She's representing all
Yes.
the way out there.
Yes.
All right, come on. Middle, front, center.
Oh my gosh.
Come on in, sir. All right, we're ready, Christian.
All right, everyone, look over here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you, trustees. Thank you, guys.
I don't believe there are any public comments today. Item 6, reports to the Board of Trustees, party for financial stewardship bond update, project control.
Hello. Hi, I'm Leslie McCracken. I'm with Project Control along with Aaron Mullins, and they've sent me in his stead to come present to you today. So our first slide is going to show what our consent agenda items are, as well as our purchase approvals that are on for this month. You can see our top 3 are our professional services that kind of take all the beginning work that we have to start early in the process. So these were all RFQs that we did, I believe, back in February, and we have now moved to getting their contracts reviewed through TISD's legal, and they are ready for y'all to sign. So our first one is our geotechnical and material testing, which is Robert Kistner. Hazardous materials is Bear Engineering. Commissioning and test and balance is EMA. And then the fourth one on there is our third alternate architect. So y'all have already seen 2 of the alternate architects that were chosen, but this is the third one that just took a little bit longer to get through for contract review. So below that, the purchase approvals, you'll see SAM is on there, which was a master service agreement y'all saw last month that y'all went ahead and approved the master service agreement. But this is for an encumbrance of up to $150,000. So that we can start work on surveying. So surveying is going to be one of those very first processes as we get moving on something like the high school and on the multi-purpose facility. It's going to be one of the first things we have to do is kind of figure out where we're putting it and what the land looks like. So surveying is our first thing, and then Robert Kistner for the geotech, which would come in right after surveying. another encumbrance of up to $150,000. And we currently don't have any quotes from them that give the exact details of the work they're going to be doing. This is just to set it up so that once they do give us those quotes, we have at least up to $150,000. And we've used those numbers based on historical numbers that we took from the last bond to kind of get us started on that. And so those are the two purchase approvals you'll see. And then next, as Aaron said, we're going to be in the same, I think he said it last month, we're going to be kind of in the same process for a bit, doing community engagement and programming. So we've been working with BLK. We have 2 launch activities, I believe, since our last board meeting for Taylor High School and Taylor Middle School. They were both great. We got a lot of input from the communities. There will be, in the next month, we'll have launch day 2 for both of those projects again. And then next month, BLK will be coming and presenting and telling y'all how those launch programs have gone and kind of what's leading into starting design. I believe schematic designs will be after that. So they'll be here next month to be able to give y'all an update. And then community engagement, also we met with White Construction. We had our first meeting with them last week that went really well, getting to talk about kind of schedule of how we engage with the community, what kind of updates do we want to put out, what kind of videos, how do we let them, keep them updated and make sure that they're getting to get excited about all the things that we're working on too. And then last is the continued programming, which launch kind of feeds into. So, and then next we have our schedule. Nothing has changed from the last time that you've seen the schedule. This is just a continuation of what you've seen. And then also next phases, we're, like I said, we're kind of still in programming and community engagement, and then continuing to build out scope and budget. So I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
Questions? We're good to go. Thank you. All right, the agreement for purchase of attendance credit. Jenna?
Good evening. Taylor ISD is expected to receive the notification of local revenue level in excess of entitlement for the school year 26-27. Based on the most recent calculations, Taylor is estimated, recapture is estimated to be $570,000. This determination was made based on estimated 26-27 student enrollment and estimated property value for tax year 2026. Provisions in TEC 48.257C allow districts to offset the reduction of the excess local revenue against TEC Chapter 48 funds. Districts using this option are required to submit the district intent or choice selection form and complete an option number 3 netting contract. Just to summarize, what we're doing is we are, because of 26-27, where the collections are expected to exceed the estimated entitlement, Taylor ISD has been deemed a recapture district. So we're proposing that the recapture payment be netted or offset against our foundation allotment. And this does require a motion.
Is that gonna be, for this specific? I didn't see one in the.
Yes. I think y'all usually recite.
It's in consent,
Consent, okay.
sorry.
So does it need to be pulled separately?
Yes.
I didn't realize it needed a motion.
Okay, we'll pull it for consent. Any questions? All right, thank you, Jenna. All right, next, item C, excellent student outcomes, safety and security, ensure safety and well-being, student surveys. Jennifer?
For this presentation, we have combined goals 1.2, which is to do with ensuring student safety and well-being, and goal 1.3, engagement through well-rounded experiences. This is based off of a student survey that we gave to all students who were in grades 3 through 12, and we asked them these particular questions. So the first question that we asked our elementary students was, do I feel safe at school? At the bottom, you can see the number of responses. We had a total of 433 students for MSC do this in 24-25, and a total of 476 students do this. So you see in comparison where the black is what we scored and, or what the students not scored, what the students felt. And then in the green, it shows what they were, how they felt this year. If you look at positive, notice that it did go down a little bit, but when you're that high, and the 2% can be statistically one way or the other. At the high school, the question that they were asked is, I feel safe in school, and if you notice, and you want to know how many kids, in 24-25, we had 1,221 students take this survey, and in this year we had 987. So it's a very good sample size of 6th through 12th grade. And we show great gains at Taylor Middle School, 16 points, and Taylor High School had good, and of course Legacy did as well. So the district average there is 77.8. And I do want to point out that talked about when you see this, that is a weighted average, because I'm surprised my mathematician over there hasn't already called this out on the that doesn't average all the way across. But I had my own mathematician, Mr. Schobinger, because of the sample size, the numbers, because they're so different between the sample size between the middle school and the high school and Legacy, they don't have an equal percentage. So if you're wondering, I'm smarter in math than. So the other part that we asked them, which has to do with goal 1.3, is I feel like I belong. And our goal is to help students feel like they belong and are a part of school, and if they're engaged in school, then they feel more comfortable about coming and being a part of it. Again, great numbers for the elementary school. 433 students took the survey, 476. I feel like the implementation of Leader in Me has as a driver, and we'll talk a little bit about that, of helping them feel like they're a part of their school, they feel vested in the things that are going on, and so forth. So secondary also showed some good gains, and looking towards I feel like I belong or I'm a part, I fit in at the high school or the middle school. Again, a great sample size, 1,200 students took it last year, 990. So again, a weighted average of 76.9% of our secondary students feel like they belong at their school. So next up, we're going to talk about this is just the goal as same data, it's just at a glance. It just shows it all on one slide, that we had a great overall increase. And so what do we do next with this data? And to look at it. So the key drivers of success come from, we saw lots of increases in positive behavior intervention support, particularly at the middle school and high school, in the form of their PBIS structure. We've got the Dynasty store at the high school. We made those campus made a very concerted effort to tighten things up, because if students have a good understanding about, like, this is the rule, this is what I do, then they feel a little more involved. And the other part is the Leader in Me implementation. Both of the elementary school, all three of the elementary schools have done a lot of work and are working through to have what we call a lighthouse review this year. If that would be the first time, of course, we put up for a lighthouse designation. It means like you have hit, not the pinnacle because it keeps going, but a major milestone. And they would all be identified as the Lighthouse campus. So all three of them are going through that review this year. And again, I feel like that is making them really, we have school-wide jobs, the kids have classroom jobs, they have student council, Lighthouse council. I think that structure is really helping our schools, our elementary kids feel like they have a part. So that is a brief update on goal 1.2, 1.3, based on the survey. So do you have any questions?
We're good.
I like the format of this slides.
Thank you. I thought you were gonna see lifetime mathematics.
No, I like it's very clear and intuitive. Seems simple, but it wasn't distracting with different. I think, yeah, I noticed it, right? But, so thanks.
Are we going on to the student engagement? Yeah, increase, yeah, that'll be you. Item E. Student engagement.
Wait. You're still
Yeah,
on.
you're still on. Yeah,
I can't hear.
you're still on.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Item D.
So now there is another part of goal 1.3, which is increasing engagement as well as rounded experiences. So what I talked about earlier was having kids like emotionally feel about school and being a part of it. This is actually the things that they are involved in. So we want to look at our students, kind of break them up into different buckets. So we have our extracurricular activities that students can be involved in, which this is not probably an exhaustive list, but just some examples. We have academic opportunities, we have leadership development, and we have social engagement opportunities, which means we have certain clubs and things that kids can be a part of. So when we're looking at that, we're looking to see our hope as students are involved in one or more of those things as they move forward. So this, if you look, I do want to look at key takeaway is THJ and NPE showed some significant growth, and I do want to point out MSE is doing lots of things as well, but it is the way that we counted the different opportunities, and we're going to talk a little more about that. And what I'm talking about is, for example, at all of the elementary schools, every kid has a classroom job. That is just part of the expectation. And some way down, we just counted some different things. So MSE is still doing great. And we're going to talk about how we're going to look at that a little bit better. The high school also had some, I think they had some columns that were missing and when we were looking at some of the data. But overall, if you look at this is the percentage of students that are reported to be in one or more of the things that we mentioned. Okay. Now, I've alluded to a little bit to we've had a few snags in the road in trying to calculate all of these different things, because when you try to calculate is Jennifer involved in this, and this, and we've got all these different things. So what we realized in our one of our leadership meetings this summer, that it would be best for us to establish more like a subcommittee to really dig in on goal 1.3 and the extracurricular activities. So we created a committee that's going to be composed of the athletic director, the CTE director, the fine arts director, and the director of teaching and learning. We're going to really knock out, and I'm going to define the experience. What does a high quality extracurricular activity really look like? Because what it looks like to me may not look like what it looks like to you. The other thing that we spend a lot of time talking about is, should a CTE experience be included or secondary? Because the goal of this is to look at, are we engaging students? Are we providing a culture that we want to provide them to have them come to school? And CTE is that for some kids. So this committee is going to work on at 6 through 12, really hammering down with this is what it is. We're still going to be counting as we go forward, but clearly defining. And this committee is going to, will be coming to you all probably September to share like how they've gotten started, and we'll report this report at the end of the year, hopefully with data that actually shows a little more clear what our students are doing. So their main goal is for the subcommittee is to create a more tracker that is more user-friendly and easier to use. Also, the leader in me, again, we have 100% of our elementary students involved in something other than academic. And what I mean by that is every kid at all of those elementary schools has a job. They might be on the door, the pencil sharpener, all of the things. They all have school-wide jobs. I can't remember now exactly what they called them, but we used to call them like the tater tot patrol and this and that. They are continuing on that pathway where every kid, whether they're in first or fifth, has some level of that. So our goal is to, for next year, this committee is just to track more clearly by the experience. So if somebody says, what's a high quality experience in Taylor ISD, we can say it is this. So, any questions? Yes.
Just curiosity, as far as like some of your social clubs to track kids, is that just a simple sponsor turning in a list of people who signed up? And the second part of that is to count them. Is it just that they signed up or they attended so many meetings? Is there any criteria? I'm just
Well,
curiosity.
That's what we were learning. Some groups have criteria and some don't. So that is the charge of this committee, is to really iron out, okay, what is, because we've talked about athletics, for example. How many kids started the season, and did they starting count? What did they finish? What did grades? All of these things. So that is what this committee is going to be working on. So we can really clearly define, to me, it's more than just saying that. But we've got to be on a consensus because we've got other people out there. That's what makes this goal so hard to kind of track, is you've got your club sponsors, your coaches, all of these people are all spread out across the district. And it's just been a challenge to try to collate all of that and collate it with the same parameters. So that is our goal.
And because you end up with like one-off committees like prom or, stuff like that, so.
Yes.
Jennifer, can you say who is leading the committees? The
Uh,
directors?
Yes, so the athletic director, Coach Flowers, the CTE director, Stephen Beagle, the fine arts director, Tara Greenberry, and the director of teaching and learning, Abby Turner, will be meeting. I'll probably be popping in and out at some of those meetings, but you will see them as a committee give a little report in September of their getting started.
Any other questions? Thank you, Jennifer. Next item E, attendance update, Ms. Danielle.
Good afternoon, President Ortiz, Dr. Garcia, members of the board. So today I'll present the attendance report for the 25-26 school year. And those are in line with our goal 4.2, ensuring fiscal responsibility and financial management, and goal 1.1 being increase academic achievement. Okay, so with our attendance plan, we're aligned to increase academic achievement, and ensure safety and security of our students, increase engagement, and our college and career readiness. So looking at our performance and our future goals, the second column have our goals, or what we ended up with in the 24-25 school year as far as our percentages, our attendance percentage. And then under the third column was our attendance percentage for the 25-26 school year. And for our end of the year, we ended with 93.68 with 3 waivers. We did have 5 of the 6 schools meet their goals. One was slightly off, but we did increase our district. We didn't meet our goal, but we did increase our attendance overall as a district. And then the last column have our campus goals for the 26-27 school year. And I definitely think that we can achieve it this year. We will continue with our district-wide strategies. One with our daily attendance notification. We do the daily all calls. We have a team at each campus, and we'll continue with that. That was very successful, especially when the campus principals or their teams would make those phone calls prior to the ADA class period. TA did start a principal verification or an attendance submission every 6 weeks. We were already completing a principal verification at the end of each month, but then now on top of that, we have an attendance verification submission that goes in every 6 weeks. So those were both very helpful because it required that each campus actually did, data dig of their attendance and make any corrections prior to us submitting it to the state. If there were any attendance notes that needed to be updated or attendance not taken that needed to be entered, then those things we were able to verify and see. So we will continue with that. Again, we will continue with our daily campus all calls, and I see one thing I need to go back to 01. So the daily attendance notification, that is, I send every day about 1 p.m. what the current attendance rate is for each campus, and if we met our goal. So that goes in a principal chat every day. CIS was a great support this year. CIS made attendance calls, they did home visits, so we will continue to partnership with them and have them go out and make those calls. And students do not have to be on their caseload for them to assist with the attendance procedures. So they do have their own personal caseload, which they will do those home visits, but they can assist with those daily attendance all calls. We will also continue with our preventative cleaning. So if for some reason our attendance rate is low in, say, one campus or one grade level, Mr. Verano and I will communicate, and I will send him the campus and whatever grade level it is, and then he will get with his staff to do an extra deep cleaning of that grade level. We don't do by class, we do by grade level, and Mr. Verano and I work together on that one. We will continue with our targeted home visits. Mr. John Matthews and Ms. Yolanda Watson are really great about that. We will just reach out to them and they will go out and they will do the home visit. Most of the time they already know the family or the student, and so that's a great partnership. But we also do that with CIS, so we use both and we tag team as far as home visits. Transportation, it's not listed, but they also help us as well. So when we make those all calls, sometimes the parent may say, oh, my kid barely missed a bus, or I don't have transportation today. And Mr. Caldwell works with us, and he will go back out and pick up the student. Even if they are not technically a bus rider, if I call him, he will go back out and pick up the students for us. So that has been really helpful. And then we will continue with our truancy prevention measures. We have the attendance clerks and the registers, we meet monthly, and we have steps that a procedure that they follow as far as the letters, the phone calls. There's an attendance 101 video. And so we have measures that we take, that we implement at each campus to try not to get to truancy court and to try to explain to parents the importance of their student attending school. Okay, we also, if y'all remember at Convocation, we had our highest performance school award and our most improved student attendance award, and we're going to continue with both of those. We are going to change up the most improved student attendance award just a little bit and make it where it's a special student assembly and not just the plaque. But we still have the plaque. It will continue to move from campus to campus, and then we have the large trophy that again will move from campus to campus, but we will continue with those incentives, the campus-wide awards, and they're not just for students, it's for staff as well. The 3 campuses that we will again focus on this year, not saying that either of the 3 are doing anything wrong, but we will strengthen the plans at THJ, which their strategy is making learning fun, and we're going to continue with that. That was really successful this year with the daily incentives, the weekly incentives. But the area that we are going to really hone on is the truancy under the age of 6, or the attendance for the students that are under the age of 6. So our pre-K students, with them, a lot of parents knowing that they don't technically go to truancy court for any student that is 3, 4, or 5, we have created a new truancy prevention plan to try to help alleviate that and get those students to school and explain to the parents why it's important of those students actually being in school and getting that foundational academics, so when they're going to kindergarten or 1st grade, they are prepared. And then again, also the rationale, explaining to the parents and the students why like missing school, why it is important to be at school and what they are missing when they are not at school. So THJ will continue with those. They were very successful this year and with the incentives that they had. Next will be Naomi Posman, and this one is more of a focus area of things that we are going to incorporate more, and one is the parent engagement. So just getting the parents more engaged. At Meet the Teacher Night, a lot of the parents update their information on the teacher sign-in sheets, but they don't do it in Frontline. So we discussed taking those sign-in sheets and using that to update Frontline to make sure we have the right parent information, because sometimes those letters and those emails and phone calls are being kicked back because we don't have the updated information. So working on a process of updating all that information. Also on the PBIS incentives, going from the 9 weeks to celebrating more weekly and bi-weekly and doing classroom celebrations versus just the individual students. So those are some of the things that Naomi Posman will focus on this year for attendance. And then high school, again, they made great gains this year, and those we will just continue to strengthen those systems that were put in place this year. It was very, very successful with them having the 2 additional APs this year, and then now them having office hours and them being strategically placed either upstairs or downstairs during passing period definitely helped with the tardies and attendance. And so continuing to strengthen that, continuing with the Duck Dynasty and the PBIS incentives, you would not know like how excited high school students are to receive those duck bucks. And so the main thing with the high school is that tardies in the skipping class. So being more visible in the hallway during the passing periods and during the time when they're supposed to be in class, having those APs out in the hallway and those, I don't know what Mr. Coulter is called, but Mr. Coulter having him out in the hallway during class time as well. Any questions?
Yes. Trustee Westerman, then trustee Carter.
Can you remind me what PBI stands for?
Positive behavior intervention supports.
Did you?
I didn't, but it will in a way. She kind of touched on it while you were talking, because I was gonna ask, like, did we have a percentage of actually what went to truancy court this past year overall? Do we know?
No, I would need to.
But
get
minimal?
extended.
But
No, high school, I know there were 80, I want to say 83 or 86 cases that went. I don't know the other numbers off the top.
that's okay.
But
I
I can
just
send
was
it.
wondering, so.
Yes.
Kind of follow up with the truancy court. Do you get good positive response from Judge Redden? I mean, as far as, does she kind of scare them into?
It's her to sing it.
Yes and no. She's not a Judge Hobbs, but yes, she does. And so, and we've had many meetings, and she would like for us to submit our truancy paperwork sooner because she wants to be more proactive and she wants to do more, but she needs our cases filed sooner so she has more time, because you're only allowed within that school year. So if we file in April, it's kind of hard for her to implement some of those procedures or things in her court with, and then it rolls over to the next school year and it doesn't count anymore. So me and her have had a few conversations. We have a meeting maybe next week with the attendance clerks to talk about our updates for the 26-27 school year. But we already have a meeting scheduled with her for just Taylor to talk about how to submit our paperwork sooner. She wants it right at the 10th absence, and we were waiting, and that was based on my instruction, because sometimes they may have notes to turn in, but now we're gonna do it sooner.
I think trustee Miller had a question.
Yeah, well, in a couple comments, I had about 3 small topics. One, like the increases on the attendance is fantastic. It's, you know, they're yes, I know.
Thank them.
Yes, yeah, and that's to everybody, yeah, for the good of the order, right? because even though our enrollment went down, that percentage went up, so it's even still harder to do yet. Can you help me understand like some of the home visits? What boundaries do we have to stay within? What are we allowed to do on the home visits?
So
You said targeted home visits on that.
Yes, so if we know that the student is, say, I can think of one student that I needed to come to school because she was an achievement student and I needed her to take a test. So Mr. Matthews went to the house and he was like, I'm not leaving until she get in the car. And so he stayed and he brought her. And so it's easier for him because it was both him and Miss Watson, so they go together and tag team. And then the parent was like, oh, I didn't know it was a test today. Yes, she needs to go to school. And she got in the car and then she came to school. But it's that we put notices on the door and just say like the importance again of school. Mr. Matthews have those conversations with the parent and explain. But most of the time when we go out to the house and if the student is there, the student gets in the car and comes to school.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that yeah, that's educational for me. Last thing, and not an answer right now, but I wonder is there, because I know there's been the initiative, so we're seeing better attendance. We have the law of the dropping the cell phones, which I know some students probably still have their cell phones, they're just not as actively engaged in them. But I wonder if there is a correlation between the attendance and the student connection at the school, because they're not like they're
like the engagement, the interaction,
yes,
talking to each other, hanging out.
Yes, yeah, their engagement, their happiness at at school because they're not on. I remember the conversation couches that they had in the 70s, right? That was popular. Those are coming back because this generation has grown up. You're not putting one in your house. Yeah. Oh, there were these inset. There were inset sunken like couches where it was deliberately sit around
and talk and yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I see some of y'all nodding your head there. So. Anyways, I wonder if that's
Let's go.
I do think
I feel like there's more engagement now.
Ms. Roth, when you go back to the overall attendance plan, one of the things that's very interesting, and it hits on what you're saying. If you look at the three, we have our bookends, which we call them as TH and Legacy. I mean, not Legacy, but high school. But if you look at the middle, and look how high their attendance is. First of all, middle school kids, that is where it happens. If you want interaction and you want to be with people, you go to school. And then at the elementary school, so, and I'm not saying anything negative about the other, but it is the nature of the kids there. They're wanting to connect, just like you're connecting. And so I think it's twofold. I think their age and their, as a part of it, also these other things just make it even higher. Because like with the middle school, they had an overall average of 94.5 for the whole year. Like, they want to come to school. And Jamie's crew did a good job of getting the few that weren't. But I guess I'm just saying, yes, you're on the right track of what you're saying.
Yeah, well, and that's my point is I think we identify as that an opportunity, right? Like we're doing our SWOT analysis. It's a strength that we see and an opportunity that we have, and we try to capitalize on it if it's a good trend. So we keep the snowball rolling. Anyways, that's it. Sorry to be long-winded on it. I plan on being quicker. Trustee Tim.
Has there been any investigation in a program that used to be here, and it was judge ordered? It's with the parents and the kids. They had to meet a certain night, and the kids in one room and the parents in the other. Parents got an education on some things, kids did. Then they came back together and talked about things, and maybe, had some homework or something. I mean, it was really, it was called Positive something. I can't think of the second word.
And it was John Matthews and, what was her name before it changed to Maddox? But now we do attendance 101 video. After COVID, everything went virtual, and it hasn't changed since then. So they watch an attendance 101 video and then submit that they have completed the video.
Dr. Garcia, you wanted to make a comment?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to recognize the campuses and the staff. This is a daily scorecard report we look at every afternoon at 1 or 2 o'clock, and it Danielle doesn't put it in there, we're all texting her, where is it at? Well, we grew 0.5%. And if we look at even a couple of years ago, we've gained every single year. We want to continue making those strides because we know that when kids are here, they're getting to take advantage of all of the opportunities. So we still have work ahead, but I know principals that knows a tremendous amount of work as well as for your team. So I just wanted to thank him because it is full force in the mornings from the front office person to the secretaries, admin assistants, CIS making phone calls, home visits to make sure our kids have the resources that they need and to make sure that there are not any barriers to try to eliminate those. So I just want to recognize the campus.
Any other
So we
questions
can-
or comments? Yes.
Danielle, on that, little, smaller kids, I have daughters that I have to get on sometime. Son, it's more the mother than the little 4 and 5-year-old that don't want to come to school.
So that we have that in the plan, so they now have a meeting with me once they hit a certain level. So they have so much with THJ, and then it ends with a meeting with me.
Okay. Cause them little kids, they want to come to school. Yeah. All right.
They all want to come to school. It's 32.
That's why I was like, can they have a nice little meeting with me?
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda, and we were gonna pull item E from the consent agenda. Is there any other item that a trustee would like to pull from the current, consent agenda? If there are none, I'm open to a motion to approve the consent agenda with item E being pulled for A, the minutes of the regular meeting, June 22nd, 2026, B, the tax report, item C, purchasing approval request, item D, quarterly investment report, item F, approval renewal of communities and schools MOU, item G, approve the Thinkery MOU, item H, approve annual review of district professional development plan, item J, approve annual review of good governance handbook, formerly board operating procedures, item J, approve annual review and updates to emergency operations plan. Item K, approve annual review of school health advisory council, end of year report. Item L, approve student code of conduct. Item M, approve professional services master agreements for Robert Kistner, EMA Engineering, Bear Engineering, and Environmental Consulting. And item N, approve the alternate architect contract for McKinney York. Again, is there any other item that trustee would like to pull? Alright, then I'm open to motion to approve the agenda as presented by board president with item E being removed.
I make a motion to approve items A through N, removing item E.
Motion by trustee Miller, second by trustee Mitchell. All in favor, raise your right hand. Anyone opposed, do the same. Motion carries 7-0. No abstentions. Thank you. All right, item E. See, I believe there's a verbiage or motion language. Did you guys need another review from Jen, or are we good to go? Okay, there is the motion language on there. If anybody wants to make a motion to read the motion language.
Sure, there's no words, I can't pronounce.
Page number, what page number?
Page number 10 on the agenda.
All right, so I'll make a motion for the 2026-2027 school year. We delegate contractual authority to obligate the school district under Texas Education Code 11.1511 C4 to the superintendent solely for the purpose of obligating the district under TEC 48.257 and TEC Chapter 49, subchapters A and D, and the rules adopted by the Commissioner of Education as authorized under TEC 49.006. This included approval of the agreement for the purchase of attendance credit or the agreement for the purchase of attendance credit, netting Chapter 48 funding.
I have a motion by trustee Mallard.
I'll second.
I have a second by trustee Westerman. In this case, because it's pulled from the consent, is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, raise your right hand. Anyone opposed, do the same. Motion carries 7-0 with no abstentions. Thank you, trustees. All right. Item 8, new business. A, consideration of possible action to approve resolution to pay staff for July 2nd, 2026 emergency closure. John?
Good evening again, thank you. This is a resolution that we are proposing for the emergency closure due to the emergency threat we received on July the 2nd. We are hoping, it was an option that the employees were able to leave early. Those who could complete their work at home were able to do so, but there are those employees that weren't able to take that work home, such as custodians. We are requesting that those employees are paid for the day and that we do have certain positions that were required to stay to complete their business, such as payroll. There were those type of positions that needed to complete before they could leave, that we are requesting premium pay for those positions.
Yes.
This is totally off. It's not off the subject, but just something funny. I was driving by Posman and I had already heard, that there were the threats. And the guys from the gas company were working right outside. I stopped and rolled down my window and I said, you might want to step away from the building because there's and they went, oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. They were working for the gas company. And it's like, okay, probably not a good place to be. So anyway, they were able to take their business elsewhere.
Any questions or? If there are none, I'm open to a motion to approve the resolution to pay staff for July 2nd, 2026 emergency closure as presented.
I saw move.
A second. Motion by trustee Tennell, second by trustee Mitchell. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Anyone opposed, do the same. Motion carries 7-0 with no abstentions. Thank you, trustees. All right. Item B, consideration of possible action to nominate and elect 2026 TASB Convention delegate and alternate. So, as a group, we're not going to TASB, so I don't see a need, but I don't know if anybody needs to go to TASB to complete some credits. If so, we can nominate that. If not, we'll just kind of skip over this agenda item and not submit a nominated convention delegate or alternate. Good to go? All right, we're good to go. All right, item A. Item C, consideration of possible action to approve endorsement of TASB Region 13 Board of Directors candidate. So, in the past, we've received endorsement requests from trustees looking to get on the TASB board. Whenever we have an option to have we get one or more than one candidate, I'd like for us to take, I think this happened like 2 years ago, where Brian and another trustee, and we selected to endorse Brian. So here's the same opportunity. We have a trustee from Manor ISD and a trustee from Florence ISD asking for our endorsement. If you have any questions, or hopefully you had time, if there's somebody that you guys feel as a majority we want to endorse and support, we can open up a nominations and endorse that individual. If you had any questions on this, I can try to answer them as best I can. But if you see something that you liked or something that you read, let me know and we can open up the floor for nominating for endorsement.
Is this somebody, just the right process, is somebody that would be kind of our, like in any other elected position that we're choosing to represent Region 13?
Right. It'll be like, right now we have 3 directors, 3 board of directors that represent Region 13. And Brian, and I think, she's from Austin ISD. She's, her name escaped my memory, but they're the ones that are currently holding, and I think we have an incumbent that's also running. I didn't get any requests from him, but those are the candidates that are like saying, hey, would you support me? So, just so you know, I think, Florence ISD is a kind of a rural ISD. Manor is not a big ISD, but it's more like, I'd say mid-size ISD with about 9,800 kids. About 10,000. Yeah, oh, there's 6, okay. So. And I appreciate them asking, and I do feel that we should act, whether it's for or against, for somebody in particular, so.
Even if we're not gonna be represented with a vote?
What do you mean?
Well, like we
Oh,
chose
with the
not to do the delegate.
Basically, because they're gonna take this, and if they get enough endorsements, the committee for the TASB will select that, and that's what TASB's gonna do anyway, because I wanna say that, TASB they submit paperwork, their applications to begin with, and they're trying to get that threshold to where if they submit enough get enough endorsements, it's kind of like an automatic, and I think Brian did that last year. The year before, I think he was just shy, and so they went with another, but he was able to come back and get that seat, because it was appointed to somebody in Liberty Hill, but he was able to get that, so it's one of those, it's like, their endorsements, just trying to help them get to that threshold and get recommended by the TASB board of directors that sit on that elections committee, if you would.
I just personally think we ought to endorse the nominee, for lack of a better word, who's represents the smaller district. That would be my vote for consideration.
And I'm gonna open the nominations for Florence ISD trustee. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a nomination just to support, where's that? Florence ISD trustee. First, motion by trustee Wallace, second by trustee Tell. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. With endorsement. Any opposed, do the same. Any abstentions? I'm going to abstain. So we had, did you get that, Vicki?
6.
It was 6, 0, and 1. Thank you, trustees. Vicki, would you be able to contact, I can contact him or you can contact him?
I can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, trustees. All right, consideration and possible action to approve revision of FD local and FM local SB 401 homeschool UIL per Dr. Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Ortiz. In the 24-25 school year, UIL required schools to opt in by August 1st to allow non-enrolled participation. And under this new law, non-enrolled students are eligible to participate in our district's UIL activities unless our school board opts out. Non-enrolled students may participate in UIL activities at the school closest to the student's residential address. That does allow non-enrolled participation if the district in which they reside opts out of non-enrolled participation. Additionally, non-enrolled students are allowed to transfer to the closest district that does allow non-enrolled participation if their home district has opted out of homeschool students' UIL participation. You heard Coach Flowers, our Director of Athletics, give an update on accountability and some of the things that we have found this past year. And so it is our recommendation that the Board of Trustees approve the option to opt in to allow homeschool students to participate in UIL activities for the 26-27 school year. And we will also reevaluate next year to see how this works out, if we need to modify or adjust. And at this time, that is our recommendation.
Any questions or?
So we can jump in and jump out? Yes, okay, good to know.
Is this homeschool and private school or just homeschool that
Just
would qualify?
Just homeschool.
So they're attending like St. Mary's or whatever, that doesn't qualify for this, okay.
Just homeschool, correct, Danielle?
Any other questions? I just appreciate last last meeting where we got more information. I think Anita made that comment that this was more information than we had previously, so thank you for that. I know Coach Flowers in here, but if you're here, and thank you, sir.
He said coaching school, but I'll relay to that.
Right, and yes.
No, just a quick comment, and to rehash even for Rachel, if it helps at all. Like, so this was brought to us the first time last year, we're like, well, let's not do it this year and see how it goes, and then I think, again, the board being open to like, hey, we did it for 1 year, and right, now let's try it the other way. I think we'll look at it again next year, right?
And just to piggyback on that, remember at your little session, somebody came up to me after the board meeting, after our meeting, because they talked about, I think I had mentioned about the board taking action on this, and I might change my mind this time around. And one of her cohorts came out and asked me about that, and I was like, well, we're gonna get new information, and I might change my mind on something like that. So, and it did. Getting that other information, that helped me. I felt better because, hey, they are going to be held accountable. They do have to be in class when it's there. They do have to be at practice. They're going to follow the same rules and regulations.
Approved curriculum.
Yeah, approved curriculum. Yeah, that was the main thing. Approved curriculum. I didn't mean to point, I'm sorry.
And it also just we're listening to the feedback of the community, which is our role up here. We're supposed to be a spokesperson for the community, so, yeah.
And I just have one clarifying thing on it. There isn't an approved list of schools that can participate. So I know when you hear like homeschool, a lot of parents think that those online schools or those online programs are homeschool, and they are not. So there is a posted list of homeschool accredited programs that UIL have approved, and we would post that and we would have it in our handbook of which programs, and then they have reports and daily attendance and grades that they would submit to me to make sure that we're in compliance with the UIL every 3 weeks and 6 weeks.
So it is a lot of effort. It's a lot of work for them to want to do this and to participate. So they're committed is what that's what it says to me. So
it's just that I know that some families think that, oh, the families that their kids just sit at home and their parents may or may not be teaching them, and then they're able to participate. No, it's not that. There's an actual list of accredited programs that they have to follow in order to participate.
yeah.
Yes.
So we would know that somebody checked that out before we accept them. Right?
Correct. That will be
That they're
between Coach Flowers and
Yeah.
we will have a process. We have some admin rigs ready to go, and depending on if it's approved tonight.
Well, thanks for that explanation.
Thank you to Coach Flowers and Daniela for their efforts and work getting everything ready.
Are there any questions, other questions or discussion? Seeing that there are none, I'm open to a motion to approve the option to opt in to allow homeschool students to participate in UIL activities for the 2026-2027 school year.
Second.
Whoa.
Jump on it, jump on it.
Trustee Carter,
Arm
second by,
wrestle
I'm
for
going
it.
10 on this one. Since she's
It's
so.
a shock. It's a
She-
shock.
she-
I know.
She's got a special place in my heart right now because she volunteered to be in the safety and security.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so we have a motion by trustee Carr, second by trustee Tennell. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Anyone opposed, do the same. Motion carries 7-0 with no abstentions. Thank you, trustees. Handbooks for information only. Trustees, you had an opportunity to read the district student handbook or the district employee handbook. Did you have any questions, or these were just information items? All right. Item 10, personnel items for information. This is information again. We had resignation of personnel, we had election of personnel, and then notification of election personnel under district innovation for the 2026 school year. We are going to be in closed session. If any of these come up, we can discuss them then. Next, oh my God.
Yep. Move right along.
Calendar. August 4th, 2026, convocation, 8 to 11:30 a.m. You know what? We should have had the July 24th, the intern ceremony this Friday for Samsung. You guys should have gotten an email. So August 4th, 2026, convocation, 8 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., Taylor ISD Event Center. August 8th, back to school fun fair, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Taylor ISD Event Center. August 12th, first day of school. August 17th, regular board meeting at 6:30. August 20th, Duck Day, 6 p.m. at Taylor High School Stadium. All right, just remember, you should have received an email, and I think Michelle Blaze wanted a response by Wednesday if you're able to. If you didn't get that, let me know and I'll forward it to you.
This one will be in Holdsworth, though, right?
Oh, that's right, you guys are at Holdsworth, okay. Well, those trustees will be here in attendance, myself included, and I think Ms. Campbell.
Ms. Campbell will take my place.
Perfect.
Marco, can I plug the August 8th back to school fair?
Yes.
I know John Matthews is still looking for volunteers to help
Okay.
with that. There'll be a setup the day before, that Friday. Hours for that were still to be determined. He hadn't set those yet.
Okay.
But if anybody has availability on that Friday or that Saturday, if you want to let me know, I can send you the Google form. His wife is a techie, so he has a Google form. Don't give John credit.
I'm gonna give John all the credit. So I'm gonna share a story about John Matthews. So, this is something that's gonna be with us forever. So when my kids were going to Northside, he was still doing everything. We're doing donuts for Dad, and I was trying to embarrass my twins. So I'm like, I'm gonna go ask him for 2 donuts since I got 2 girls. So we got up again. I'm trying to embarrass my kids. So I go up there and said, since I have twins, do I get 2 donuts? And he tells me really directly, no, you don't. Sorry. So to this day, when I get with John Matthews, we talk about that. It's so funny. He goes, is that the only thing you remember me by? I said, no, that's going to be our time. Damn it. Sorry about that. That's part of the future agenda or food for thought, okay? Right, need volunteers. All right. Suggestions of future agenda items or food for thought?
I just have one comment. I want to recognize and honor a former employee, Amy Belusic, a trusted, unbelievable math teacher at Taylor ISD for I don't know how long. Her services are going to be August 8th, I believe, at the Christian Church across the street. She will be missed.
Any other food for thought or suggestions for future agenda items? Seeing that there are none, as determined by the Board of Trustees, there may be a closed session pursuant to Texas Opens Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.001, to discuss items relating to personnel, including but not limited to the evaluation of the superintendent, Texas Government Code 551.074, or for the purpose to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, including possible discussions with legal counsel related to the same. Texas Government Code 551.071, 551.072, or for deliberation of economic development, Texas Government Code 551.087. Any action will be taken in open session. At this time, we'll exit open session at 7:37 p.m. Trustees, why don't you take a moment behind the minutes and we'll go back to dinner.